You just got your asses whipped by a bunch of goddamn nerds. Nerds!
First and foremost, happy Halloween. Again, thank you to everyone who has supported us by liking, by subscribing, by sharing. If you haven't done so far, please do us a favor and click that subscribe button, hit that bell, and hang out with us while we talk about everything pretty much that's current going on. I guess in the entertainment world. I guess when it kind of applies to us, when it comes in our wheelhouse. And for this show, we are talking of this is our third classic horror movie review, and we've done Nightmare on Elm Street. I think with that one, it's like one of those classics, and it's not the Jason and the Freddy. I mean, the Jason and the Michael Myers, but Freddy's a little different, being that he's more supernatural than those guys. And he, like Pooba said, he is New Line is the house that Freddy built, being that he gave the background where they were about to go out of business, and they made that movie. I think it was what the effects guy took the job because he had no work at all, so he didn't really care about the movie or whatever was going on. He just needed the check, so can totally respect that. But look, it turned out, and all these years later, we're talking about Nightmare on Elm Street. We're talking about Freddy. We also did It chapters 1 and 2. And that kind of it's kind of relevant right now, not just because of Halloween, but because another show that we started reviewing was It Welcome to Derry. We just covered the first episode. Second episode is coming out 3 a.m. Halloween morning. So it's just crazy to maybe watch it before you go to work. Who knows? If you work the late shift, you're going to get home and you're going to watch it. But try to watch it at night. Don't watch that during the day. It kind of takes away from it. But for our third one, we try to get, do some movies within this Halloween month, which is October. Friday is Halloween, and that's going to be it for us with the classic Halloween movie reviews. But this one, we're talking about a toy. We're talking about a red-headed toy, and his name is Chucky. He's supposedly a good guy, but he really isn't. And the movie we're talking about is Child's Play. I would hope everybody who's listening and watching knows who Chucky is just based off that name and based off what we've been talking about, what type of show this is. But Child's Play, another one of these movies that came out when we were kids. And yeah, scared the hell out of me at that time. At that time, that was no joke. And I know the movie is Child's Play, but no, this was not for the faint of heart. It was, again, this is a horror movie, but we'll go to our horror expert, right? Uba, did you see this in the movies? I know you saw it when we were younger, but did you see this in the movies? Did you see it? Talk to me.
I was 11 years old. I can't remember if I saw it in the movie theater or I saw it on VHS. Just to really put it out there. And when you had to wait for something to VHS, it took forever. Like, Absolutely. How the movies now, you get to see the movie 2-3 months down the road, and with some of the other streaming things, you get to see it while it's in the movie theater. But no, I can't remember where I watched it. I do remember this is like the heyday of the Cabbage Patch doll. And I think they kind of played this scenario with this good guy doll because Cabbage Patch was such a big thing. Shook Daddy. I think I took my sister's dolls and threw them in the closet and locked them up because I didn't want any of those dolls kind of coming to life. Listen, I had an E.T. doll that could do anything. And you remember the E.T. doll, Pete? He could do anything. Even he went into the closet because I was not dealing with that. And no, this is one of those movies that even today is rewatchable and great horror movie, great time to watch it during this Halloween season. And I can tell you that I enjoyed this movie watching it the second time just to review it today. Listen, even from right from the opening, when the United Artists logo comes on, it is so old. It took me absolutely back, and yeah, and I laughed more than I thought I would watching it this time around.
Yeah, watching it now, it's not a problem at all. Definitely back then, you said you were 11. That means I was 14 when this movie came out. I didn't see it in the movies. I definitely saw it on VHS. And like you said, going back to what you said as far as you had to wait a year for something to come out on cable. And it's out within months now on cable now. It's insane the way things have changed.
People are spoiled. People are so spoiled.
Absolutely. And it's funny that you bring out the ET doll and stuff like that. But there was when I was younger, there was a movie, and it's very old. I mean, I don't remember seeing the movie, but I remember seeing the commercials. Of course, it's the name of the movie is Magic, and it's with Anthony Hopkins, and it's a very old movie, 1978. I was 4 years old when this movie came out. Now, seeing just the commercials scared the hell out of me. So when you talk about dolls, let's talk about he was a ventriloquist in the movie. Now, I don't know the synopsis. I'm not trying to do a deeper dive into that movie because no thanks. That one probably still creeps me out. But let's not forget about the clown in Poltergeist that the kid had in his room. That was scary. That was scary as hell at that time.
I will never look at static on a TV screen the same way.
Poltergeist was at that time was insane for what they were doing in that movie. But yeah, you can talk about dolls, talk about magic. We talk about the clown from Poltergeist, like I just mentioned. Freddy in Dream Warriors, Nightmare on Elm Street, Part 3. He's a sculpture on the wall, and he comes to life. It's another scene that's insane because it involves a toy. And I think at this time, Child's Play was different from Freddy and Jason and Michael Myers because it was a toy, and that I think is what kind of that added to the eeriness of the movie is the fact that this is a toy, and he's hanging out with a kid. And there's a good point that you brought up as far as kind of like piggybacking off of the hysteria with the Cabbage Patch Kids. You saw that he wanted one really bad. She ended up buying one from a homeless guy in an alley, just to get him one for his birthday. The fact that this was a guy who transferred his consciousness into a toy because he was about to die. Yeah. That's insane to me. Insane. But Booba, so when you're watching this movie, you watched it again. What did you think as far as when he's interacting with Chucky, when he's alone, and he's trying to tell people what's going on?
No, he's a huge fan. Listen, I'll tell you a straight up story that's real. When I was a kid going to PS31 on the bus, I used to look up in the clouds and see the Care Bears. I watched the Care Bear show, and Andy is watching the Good Guys doll show, and he's all in it. I mean, listen, when you get the perfect gift for your birthday, it stays with you forever. Like, I remember birthdays with the perfect gift I got. But then to have his doll, and he thinks it's a toy. No one is checking the batteries. No one cares to look at that stuff, but it's working automatically because we got it from a peddler on the street. So that's okay. Like, we're just good with that. Because I would have, whenever I get a new toy for any of my kids, I always check to make sure it doesn't need batteries, or I got to go run to the store, things of that nature. But, it's crazy the way he interacted with the kid, because it was as if Chucky knew how to whisper into the kid's ear, and you could never hear Chucky's voice out loud when he's doing that. It seems like it's all whispering and hush hush, and it's just crazy. to think that that something of that nature could get possessed. Something's kind of a safety net for a kid. Could be as possessed as it was, and they had a good bond. They trusted each other. They took the train together. They were riding together. They were cool. They were buddies. In this case scenario, they were buddies. But it's not want to play. It's really direct conversation, even as far as confessing to who he was to the kid. And that was the big trick towards the end. Like whoever you confess to is the only person that you can transfer back, I guess, in a sense. But, so much that Chucky just wanted to watch the news, man. And Tia didn't let him. Tia didn't let Chucky watch the news, which is what got her in trouble the first time around.
Well, that's when you started to see it. Is when he look, and this was like I think the first night. It's the first night he had him, and of course he's hearing about the robbery on the news that he was involved in that caused him to, he got shot by the cop a couple of times, which is why he decided to do that ritual, and he wanted to find out what was going on with the guy who left him there, his partner, and. It's crazy that Andy, he would talk to Andy, I guess, like he was okay with, he had no problems expressing himself to Andy, because when Andy repeated it, he said, yeah, Aunt Maggie was a real bitch and got what she deserved. and it's funny now. Again,
I'm sorry that I'm laughing, folks.
No.
But to hear the kid repeat that
exactly
was
after
great.
She just got pushed out of the window, but. Insane that right then and there he's already repeating what Chucky said. This is a year. I'm sorry, the first night he's with him. So the next day, of course, she drops him off at school at the daycare. More horrible parenting because
that is the key to these horror movies.
She did not make sure he got in. She turned around and walked away, and he came out and, like Pooba said, he got on the train. And they went to go visit his friend. And you said they were buddies. They're not buddies. They're friends to the end.
Friends to the end, yes.
But where did he go? When he got on the train, Pooba, you brought it up. Where did he go when he got on the train?
Well, first of all, he looked like he just got off of Burnside. That's what it looked like, the L train on Burnside. So if you're from the Bronx, you kind of know what that is. But I know you were not happy with the rat-infested house where his partner was at.
Don't know how he was. I don't know how he was laying down and okay. I mean, I guess when you're on the run, beggars can't be choosers. But I think I probably would have found someplace else because I have to turn away from. I can't. I've been watching the gore and what we've been covering, but if there's a rat on the screen, I'm turning away, bro.
Yeah, because it's kind of crazy to think that. And I'm sorry. That it's all believable. The thing is, it's all believable. I can see him turning on the gas. I could see him kind of running around to confuse his partner. That again, the greatest thing about these type of movies like Child's Play and Nightmare on Elm Street is like all of it is really believable that a doll could do these things. And that's the part that's the scariest. And yeah, he blew the hell out of his partner out, but Chucky and Eddie got bagged. They got bagged by the cops.
So when watching it again after, of course, when you're younger, watching this, it scares the hell out of you. Like you said, you hit all the dolls in your house and stuff like that, which I can definitely understand. When you're watching it later on in life, it becomes funny, and that's why you laughed when I repeated what he said about his aunt getting pushed out the window. But he's just repeating, and that shows the innocence of him. He's just repeating what Chucky said. And he's seeing it as, again, I don't remember if you said you remember he's telling Chucky that he loved him. Yeah. He hugged him before he went to sleep that same night. He had an instant, connection with the doll. He wanted it so bad. He had the pajamas. He's watching the show, like you said. He was sold from jump. This is my guy. I got a good guy. His name is Chucky. He talks to me. I'm good. But then, like you said, they got bagged. Because, of course, there's a house that exploded. They're looking for this guy. He's dead. So they got Andy. Again, Andy is I think he was 6 years old and something like that.
Yeah.
And he's in the hood. in
Birdside.
Him and his doll are in the hood. Now, the funny thing to me is that he's trying to tell them, look, Chucky said this and Chucky said that. And they're looking at him like he's a whack job. And then he said, come on, Chucky, say something. When he starts roughing Chucky up, hilarious. Because then Chucky let out one of his standard sayings. Hi, I'm Chucky. Want to play? He punched him in the stomach. Hilarious to me. So there's a doctor there that hears what's going on.
Yeah, they're telling the mom. Can you imagine that you can't take your kid home? That he needs to stay with me for a couple of days. Man, that was, as a parent, it's tough. Like, damn, I can't take my kid home. Like, what are you talking about?
And she's a single mom. Let's not forget that. She's a single mom.
Yeah, so she gets to go home with Chucky. That's what she does get. She does get to go home with Chucky, and that's where we find out that he had no batteries. And listen, the funniest scene, in my opinion, the funniest scene in Chucky is when she's shaking the doll and he does like this exorcist thing and turns his head, crazy, and he starts going after her neck and she throws him. Man, he called her a filthy slut.
I heard that. Because first you always hear the stupid bitch part, and then they start fighting. But after that, he's called a filthy slut. I heard that for the first time in rewatching it. I heard that this time. But before that part, she goes to throw the box away. This is how she realizes it. She goes to throw the box away, and the batteries fall out. So that's when she's like, that's when this scene, the battery scene, back when this movie came out, was like, yo, that's why you get the spider, like, the hair stand. Yeah. Yo, the batteries wasn't in. He was doing all this before, and they didn't even have batteries in them. But go ahead, because No,
but the funny thing is that, listen, Chucky has this roll that he does, like he goes under beds and stuff. Yo, the roll is sick.
Yes,
I gotta tell you, the roll is sick. But he gets out of the apartment and like he gets, I guess, in the elevator. Yo, she is running after her $30 investment because that's how much she paid for the Chucky doll with the peddler. So she's running after her investment. And, even right now, when she went, I think she went to the cop after that, and the cop also didn't believe her.
Yep.
Like, not only now is the son loco and crazy and no one's going to believe him, but now the mom is acting insane, which is even crazier now. But, Chucky, I think after that, she's warning him, I guess, in that nature. And they start talking about how he's the strangler. I forget the name, something Ray.
Oh, Charles Lee Ray is his name.
Charles Lee Ray. Thank you for that. Charles Lee Ray. She's trying to explain that to the cop because he had said it the first time when Maggie died. He had said Charles Lee Ray, and the mom was like, "Who the hell is that? I don't believe you," and things of that nature. So now this name is kind of become synonymous with everything that's kind of happening going on. But man, she actually goes and looks for the peddler, which is crazy. Like she went deeper into trying to find out where he got the doll from, and she was gonna catch it. He was like, "You got something else you could pay with," and thank God the cop saved her. But man, it's crazy.
But now the cop saved her, and then took her home. But let's go back to before Chucky, did that transformation, did the seance in the toy store. He threatened his partner, and he threatened the cop. He said, "I'm going to get you if it's the last thing I do."
I do, yeah.
No matter what is what he said, and he delivered that line. Like I was like, "Oh yeah, he's going to get these bastards, yo." The cop is trying to arrest him, and then his boy just left him. So
yeah, that was dirty.
He did get him, and then of course, the mother gets dropped off, and who's in the car with the cop?
Yo, Chucky's in the back of the car. And he's he's knifing like crazy, trying to get to the cop, and so much that they flipped the car. The whole car flips.
Well, remember, another funny part. He tries to put the brake, and Chucky pushes his foot out the way and pushes the gas.
Yeah, I believed it. What was crazy to me is when he's upside down and he just doesn't get out the car. Like he's just staying in the car, looking around.
Well, no, I understood that because he doesn't know where he's at. I get that.
Chucky's fast.
I get that.
Fast.
And and again, he's small, so it's not he can definitely hide. But then he shoots him. He shoots Chucky, and it's funny because the way you see Chucky get hit with the bullet, it's funny too.
Like a shotgun.
What you said?
Like a shotgun.
Yo, hilarious. This is, again, when you watch it now after not being scared as a kid, you can watch it as an adult and it's funny. But that also, Chucky comes to the realization. First off, the cop now is a believer because he just fought with him. So he understands that Chucky.
Absolutely.
Chucky comes to the realization that, thought I couldn't get hurt and I got shot and it hurt. So he goes to the witch doctor who taught him to do this.
That was crazy.
Scene. Go ahead, Pooba. Go ahead. Yeah, it's an insane scene. No. I paused because I was thinking about when I first saw this scene, and it did scare me. But go ahead.
No, listen. The John, the voodoo master. That's who it is. John, the voodoo master, and he tries to get the answers. Like, why did it hurt? Why does this thing? And, the realization now comes. And we find out during that scene that his nickname is Chucky. So while he's Charles Lee Ray, his nickname was Chucky. So he took on the nickname Chucky from the Charles. So I never realized that until now. Yeah, realized that until now.
Yeah, Chuck is Charles, as a nickname for Charles. Yeah.
Yep. So then, he's like, you're an abomination. And Chucky's prepared. Made a voodoo doll of John. Broke his leg right there and then. And was like, I kind of knew this was going to happen. But he needed the answers to find out why is it hurting and what he needs to have. But he gets known that, hey, the longer you stay in this Chucky form, the closer you're going to turn human and stay like that. Which is why he goes bananas in that sense. And it's like, nah. You mean I could be 6 years old again? That's what he was excited about. He was actually excited about being a kid again.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about it. You heard the saying, if I only knew now if I knew then what I know now. Imagine going back to being 6 years old again. And you know everything that you know now. It's crazy. But remember, they took Andy away. They got him, in a I guess, a funny farm, I guess, because, he's talking crazy. They don't understand what he's doing. Of course, the cop now is a believer. He's with the mother. They're trying to get to Andy, and they found out that he has a connection to John. They get there and they find out that what Chucky's goal now is to do the seance again, but with Andy, because that's how he's gonna, he'll be human again. Like Pooba said, he doesn't want to end up being in that doll form for the rest of,
No, the rest of his life. But go ahead, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
No. So then, Chucky shows up to the hospital. Like he's walking around the streets like it's nothing. But Andy does see him out the window, and of course nobody believes him. And then Chucky does his thing.
Again, that's when he used the rolling technique again. He used the rolling technique again. But shout out to Andy. Andy played the okie doke on him on the bed.
Yes.
I love that. Again, things that I didn't realize first time watching this. I love that Andy getting the okie doke. The only problem that I had is that I was like, Andy, close the door. But
close the window.
It didn't matter. But once I saw Chucky go behind the bars, I was like, it didn't matter.
Yeah.
It didn't matter.
Well, the door was closed. He did close the door. The window he left open so he could just go through the bars because, of course, he's a doll. And he ends up killing the doctor that brought Andy to the hospital. Like Chucky was At this point, he look when fighting with the cop in the car, the guy had the cigarette lighter and burned his face. So Chucky's there's a lot of wear and tear on Chucky at this point, but he already knows I'm gonna get a new body anyway, so it doesn't matter. Andy was taught to go home when he's in trouble. Andy goes back to the apartment, and of course Chucky's gonna follow him there. And how does Chucky get upstairs, Booba?
So he waits into the elevator, and which is crazy to me because how did he get down the first time when the mom Karen was chasing him, but he couldn't press the elevator going up? I'm a little confused on that, but
I didn't want to. I mean, I didn't look too far into that as far as because I get what you're saying. I get what you're saying, but don't know how that happened because remember he was already in they already showed them in the elevator, so the lady saw him already just sitting there.
Yeah, the older couple saw that,
yes.
And he's, she goes, "We should pick it up, just in case." He's like, "Nah, leave it there. Whoever lost it knows exactly where that's at. Just leave it there." And as she's closing the gate, she says, "What an ugly doll." And then the elevator, of course, goes going up, and Chucky lets it out, bro. He is not happy that she called him an ugly doll. So all you hear is, "Fuck you." Listen, again, there's so many hilarious points to this, and Freddy has his lines, but Chucky, man, Chucky beats them all.
Yeah, Chucky was. I think at this point he was having fun with it because again, like he thought he was invincible, and he's starting to. But he's able to get around, which is crazy because you think about it. This guy's he's a criminal. He's evil, and look, he's trying to kind of take the place of a young kid. It's crazy what he was looking to do, but more concerned with himself. Funny, so they end up getting into the apartment. They end up fighting. Andy has a bat. Now, this part has me in stitches all the time, man. All the time. Andy, of course, loses the bat. Chucky gets it. Of course, he sneaks up behind him, says, "Batter up," and whacks him in the head.
But Andy had the first swing and missed, bro. He had it. He had it.
Andy didn't take any practice swings because that was bad. he missed pretty bad. But that opens up the door for Chucky to do his thing. Because
the cop basically bum rushes the door, and then how he chucks Chucky like nothing. Like he picks him up and tosses him. And then it looked like he got upset that he got tossed so easy. So he comes back and stabs him in the leg. Man, come on. It's just a hilarious scene for the most part to think of it tonight. Like, why not just kick him? Like, this is just a doll. And he is the mom falling on the floor, running away from the doll.
Oh.
I'm sorry, guys. If I'm in that scenario, I'm going after the doll. I am not going to get beat up by a doll. This is not happening. It's just not going to happen. But she falls, and then somehow, as they're wrestling, they get near the chimney where he came from, right? I'm laughing. I'm in tears. I have tears coming down my eyes because it's funny. And the way she's pinning her back, and he's on the thing. Yeah, listen, I was in tears laughing my butt off because it is hilarious to see how Chucky was going ham because he's just a doll, and it just goes to show you all she had to do was put her back against the gate of the fireplace, and then of course it's just, hey, get the thing. But the thought that annoyed me the most was when she is shooting. Yo, she's like a stormtrooper, just missing. Just like come on, but. Of course, they burn him during that fight scene. Because I'm in tears, just laughing. He's crisp. He's a nice little crispy Chucky now. And I'm gonna tell you, the cop is whack. This cop that he's a whack ass cop because he didn't do nothing. Nothing. I mean, come on. I'm gonna get off my box now.
No, what you're saying makes a lot of sense. Like, it's a doll. Pick him up and freaking throw him somewhere, man. Like. Run him over with the car and he's finished. Like, Chucky was crazy with it because He lasted the whole movie, and only at the end were they able to do anything to him because he almost killed the cop in the car. He was fighting with the mother, bit her on her arm. Like he was.
He even
Chucky was
strangled that
insane.
stupid cop. He even strangled that stupid cop that he said don't touch him. He grabs his head. Like, come
Oh,
on,
at the
people.
end, yeah, he comes
Yeah.
out, and before the end of the movie, they shoot Chucky in the heart. But Chucky's body's walking around, no head, because he's still possessed. But they do shoot him through the heart finally, and that's what finishes Chucky off. Now, I gotta be honest. I didn't see any of the. I didn't see the remake. I didn't see any of the sequels. They just didn't interest me. It's very similar to me, and this movie came out at the same time. RoboCop. RoboCop. The first one was amazing. I had no interest in the sequels. This to me is very similar because like I said, they came out at the same time. Very same feel to it. Have no interest in the reboot either that came out maybe 10 years ago. That he was all in black armor as opposed to the silver armor. Zero interest. That's just how I am. I like this. To me was a classic, ruined by sequels. But again, it's the same thing as Freddy Krueger, Jason, Michael Myers. This became a franchise because they have a great character that they can continue to build off of and tell more stories with. So I get it, but me personally, I'm not watching those movies. Go ahead, Booba.
No, listen, I agree with you. There are some movies, but I understand. Like, if it's that much of a good character, people are going to want to see it. And the sequel basically followed where they repaired the doll. All they did was the people that were making the good guy dolls wanted to find out what the hell's going on. And he goes after Andy in part 2 as well. But listen, I get it. We needed a little bit more of Chucky because it was kind of eerie the way the first one ended with Andy just kind of looking back through the crack of the door. So I got it that maybe Andy saw something and he knew that Chucky was going to come back to him. But I get it. But what a great character.
Definitely.
Phenomenal, enjoyable, suspenseful, believable. That's what makes these things so classically and so well done and such a thing that's so rewatchable. And if you haven't seen Child's Play yet, please go and see it. Support this type of movie because this sets the tone for so many other movies that came afterwards.
Like we discussed before, it's you got Freddy, you got Jason and you got Michael Myers. They're wearing the masks, and then you got Freddy, who's just a different blueprint from those two, and then you got a doll that's possessed, and he's wrecking all this havoc throughout the movie. It's insane. Like you said, the character, his backstory, how he became, how he transferred himself into the doll is well done, man. Well done. Again, we're able to laugh at it now, but trust us when we say this movie scared us back then. Booba was 11, I was 14. I was 14 years old, and I still wasn't like trying to, look in the closet and shit when it was dark and stuff like that. Because you know what, man, that movie was a little bit too realistic, But anyway, everybody, want to thank you again for joining us. Just two guys talking about the stuff that we grew up on and the stuff that's out now that definitely interests us, that is related to that stuff as well. But if you haven't, again, please like, subscribe, share. For Pooba, we will return.
The worst episode ever.